started the recording.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, so let's start. So I'm going to be the facilitator for this session. So yeah, my name is Gina. Again, I'm regional manager of GV. You get it already. Yeah. So the things or like the contents or the things that we are going to talk about in specifically for GV is the first one is of course the current state of GV and also what is the context of COVID-19 for GV specifically, and then the next one is to understand the realities and also the needed change management that GV will look into. And then the next one is to understand what is the AI strategic objective in 2020 regarding GV, so that we all understand what are the things that you can expect from the product itself. Okay. And then, so yeah, let's begin. Let's see where we are as GV so that you and me, Aro and MC are now on the same page. So the first thing is, of course, product data. It's been very long for me since we talk about this. I mean, with you, but in RO, we always talk about this every week. There's one chat. Yeah, so yay, finally. Cool. So just for you to understand, like, or for us to look back into where operation is happening. So first thing for OGV from the 1st of August in 2019 till March of 2020. So these were the numbers or where we were as GV in Asia Pacific until March 13. So as you can see here, apply until realization, we are still in a we were facing huge drop, but I think that mostly it is also because of the break realizations that we made. So for realization and also for approval, that is actually still okay because as what we were, as what was the direction that were given, there were like we have to break approve and break realize people. So I think that is okay. And then for IGV, it's the same thing. For approval and realization, we need to break a lot of them because of the pandemic. But I think that in this year, or what happened in 1920, your predecessor, was that there were, specifically for GV, there were a huge number that we already, like, how to say, there were a lot of number of cross peak that we did comparing to the last years. So in your predecessors, like in 1920, there are like around 30 to 40% of the approval that was supposed approval in winter peak that was supposed to be realized in the summer peak. So that's why we faced huge drop of realization and approval. It's because of the cross peak number. Yeah, so I hope you understand what it means. And then the next one is, of course, sustainability, because if we don't have money, we can't run the product. So these are the current, like the state where we were. For OGV, it is as expected, like there are 14 entities who are in level 2, but I'm still very sad that there are still OGVs who are in level 1 and level 0, which means that they are not able to cover both. Yeah?
The screen. There is
Gina,
no presentation.
Wait, what happened?
You need to screen share again. Maybe try again.
Okay.
Go back to Zoom.
Sorry, I don't know what happened, but yeah. Can you see my screen now? Is it okay?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, if I share, is it still okay?
Yep.
Yes, it's fine now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for letting me know. So yeah, this is the sustainability level of our product in AP. And as for IGV, yeah, I'm still very sad because we are still, a lot of us still in level 1, and there are 3 entities who are in level 2, which you can probably see later. So yeah, for IGV, partners like when it comes to charging the partners, so there are 2 entities who are charging NGO less than to EP. There's zero entities who are charging the NGO more than EP. So basically what it means is that we charge to EP more than to the NGOs. And then there are 5 entities who don't charge EP at all, and only 1 entity in AP, IGV at least, who doesn't charge EP at all, and that is Taiwan. And there are 5 entities who are not standardizing, like, and has a whole entity. If I want to charge, like, how much I charge partner and how much I charge EP, as an entity, they don't really standardize it. So this is what happened, the reality that happened for us in IGV. Wait, let me check. Okay, cool. So the next one is financial state. So let's see where we are at the moment. So first thing is that for profit and loss forecast. So this is the data from the GFB Health, GFB Health. So what we are looking into is that both for scenario 2 and scenario 3. Scenario 2 being realization to have a realization in September, and then scenario 3 is to have realization only in the winter peak, which is next year. So for OGV, if you can see, like, we are still, like, due to the forecast, we are still going to be profiting. But however, for IGV, we're going to be having a huge loss in the profit if we are included the indirect cost of the product. So, and the indirect cost, which means, like, it's like office fee, MC fee, all this kind of stuff are all in the indirect cost. So which means we are, as a GV in total, we are gonna face losses for both scenarios, scenario 2 and scenario 3. Yeah, so with that, like, how does the current product looks like? So the first thing is that since I guess for AP, we hit the virus quite early. So as you can see, we are already having the decline from February into March. Yeah, especially for the ones that are, like, affecting a lot, like MOC, and then the entity around it, and as well as, like, Southeast Asia, who were, like, since the very beginning was already affected. Yeah, so these are the declines that we have, especially for OGV. And then for IGV, it's almost the same, of course, because most of the supply and demand for AP is within the region. Yeah, so it's almost the same. We are started to decline our operation in February because that's when the virus starts to hit our region. Yes. So what happened is that if we are putting into timeline, and what happened was that in February, the WHO announced a global pandemic. So that's when they were releasing to the, like, globally, that this is like a pandemic. And then in March, if you remember, we decided to hold all exchange operation. And in April, we came up with the exchange scenarios. If you remember that in April, we we started to think, or started to decide, or your predecessors start to decide when the exchange is going to start again. Like, are they following the scenario 1, which is starting realization in June, or scenario 2 in September, or scenario 3 in the winter peak. And then in May, I hope that you already also seen the recovery plan or the qualitative analysis from your predecessor. That is what we created in order for us to see what are the possibilities, or what are the chances for us to run the product again. Yeah, so far is everything clear? Any questions from your side? Just wanted to check if everything is clear. Okay, cool. 3 people answered. No, 4, 5. Yay! Thank you so much for responding. I really appreciate it. Cool. So, okay, now I cannot. What happened? Okay, cool. So, yeah. So in the very beginning, right? Like, we have ayo. Wait 1 second. I cannot see my pointer. Okay. So in the current state, like at least for us, what I heard is that IGV is not sustainable anymore, and then accommodation will be an issue because, of course, even if you're not like for the entities, at least the ones that I talked to, accommodation is going to be an issue because hostels or hotels or even university are going to be closed. And for the ones who puts their not put who like accommodate their EP in those types of accommodation, it will be an issue because you're not going to have accommodation for the EPs, right? And it's concerning. And then we don't know if GV is relevant in today's context because we don't know if the young people still want to go for an exchange. It's going to be very difficult to sell because especially for AP, parents concern us are one of the most how to say rejections that or how to say like the objections that an EP have to go for an exchange, or like, and that means that you're not going to have enough applicants, right? And then yes, like if you see like before we have 14 OGV who were in level 2 sustainability, but now considering we don't have exchange, we cannot run exchange for break approval. We need to, like some entities, we need to give back the money and everything. OGV is not sustainable anymore. And then this is the hardest one. The borders are closed and there are a lot of restrictions, which we don't even know like who is closing and then when are they going to be open again. At least for me, from what I know, is that even if they say that we are going to open in June, then there are also possibilities if, let's say, the case of the virus is increasing again, then they're going to be closing again. So at least that happened from what I know here in the Philippines. Only an example. And then the last one is that it is difficult to convince people to travel right now. And I think that it is also as hard as convincing the people to receive a foreigner into their community, especially for IGV. Our partners are the ones that are vulnerable. So the elderly or the children or like, small kids, they are very vulnerable to the virus. So it is also difficult for them to the school to be willing to like receive foreigners. Yep. So yeah, the challenge is real. But then something that I would like to remind you again is that reality hits even before COVID. First thing, our performance are already declining. Second, our product was not sustainable at all. And the worst part about it is that we are, especially for IGV, we are losing money the more we do exchanges, which is very, very concerning because without money, we cannot run exchange. So, okay, there are a lot of problems, there are a lot of changes. What can we do now? First thing is that we need a sustainable operation that are financially supporting the entities to ensure the entities can still sustain, can still alive, can still exist, and as well as ensuring the customer safety. So with that, moving into the strategic AI 2020 strategic direction. So I don't know if this is the first one you see, but then there are two actually. There are like the AI one and also the network objective. So for the network objective, there are three strategic direction that in AI 2020 we'll have. First one is to exchange operation recovery. Second is member operations recovery. And the third one is the revenue streams diversification. So these are the focus or the strategic direction that AI will have in AI 2020, which means from July until December. Yes, so yes, you see here for the first one that is relevant to GV is that the exchange operation recovery, and the definition is GTA and GTE focus, and the number of realization in GTA and GTE. And so you might be wondering, so Gina, what does that mean? Does that mean that I cannot run GV anymore? You can still run GV, of course. However, in this time, we need to do it right, considering the challenges and also the changes that is happening in the world. As you can see, we were not sustainable enough. We are still lacking of like the safety of our customer, like as simple as legality. But there are still entities who are running GV without having a proper visa, for example. And now, considering the changes, we cannot do visa run anymore because we don't know if the other countries or territories in the around your country can accept people from specific countries. So that's why, like, right now we need to really look into the possibilities and the threats that GV is running at the moment. The next one is like, maybe you can ask like, okay, so what should I do right now? So first thing is that definitely not panicking. Everything is going to be okay. Wait until day 3 and day 4, which I will also tell you what's going to happen after this, to understand the big picture of what are the changes that is needed. In this session, I'm going to just tell you like a heads up that there are some changes and change management that we need to have in GV. And please don't communicate this to the LC yet. Wait until you're planning. So yeah, I hope it's clear. Yeah, I will open Q&A after this. Yeah, so what is coming for GV? So in day 3, which is tomorrow, there will be like GV principles for you to understand like what are the things or what are the minimums that you need in order for you to run GV. And then the next after that, we're going to have pre-attraction for diagnosis. So what are the things that we need right now to prepare in order for you to be ready to run the product again, and for you to know when you can run the product again. And then the next one is customer journey management. So after this COVID situation, what are the changes in the customer journey that we think that we need to change? Okay, so wait, let me drink first. My throat is dry. Okay, so for day 4, we're going to have S&D and timeline scenarios mapping because, you know, with all of these changes, there are a lot of adjustment that we need to make. And then the next one is we have IR scenarios mapping, which we are also going to see which entity or like what are the possibilities or who are the people who are the entities who can run GV. And then the last functional track that we have is planning tips and also functional checkout. Yeah, so these are the things that you can expect for the next 2 days. So yeah, right now it's just a heads up that, hey, this is gonna happen. We're gonna shift the focus, and yeah. So something that, how to say, stuck with me when I was discussing with Phileas about how can I approach this session to you was that first thing is that there should be a change in the product for sure, because everything changes, which you already get a little context from the regional context and also from the global context. And maybe COVID-19 was there actually to help us in fastening the process, because we have been talking about like IGV sustainability, or we have been talking about legality, we have been talking about customer journey or customer centricity for a very long time, but yet there are still things that we didn't change, or we didn't really see the effect of the change at all. So maybe right now the situation is that the COVID-19 was helping us to actually fasten the process. Yes. So I think that is gonna be it for GV. So right now, I think we have a little bit of time. Do we have time? Yeah, we have around